My screen is visible. This is MT,
Yes,
right?
ma'am, it is visible.
Okay, so this is MPI, mother tongue influence. This is also given in the supplementary sheet if you have seen. Okay, that's already there. I mean, this was not included in the book, but later they have included it in the supplementary sheet. Okay, now it's here. Okay, mother tongue influence is the chapter. Sorry, the entire thing is given out here. Okay, now related to this, I have a small PPT for you, very small, just 6 slides, not six even, just 5 slides, I guess. Okay, 6 slides. Okay, so mother tongue influence (MTI) is mother tongue influence or interference. Okay, I mean you can see both at many places. Okay, influence or interference, whatever it is. Okay, so why is this necessary to know in communication? Clear, or how is this affecting your professional communication, or how is this related to professional communication? Okay, I'm going to talk about that. Now, understand that every human being is guided by a language system in which they are born or brought up, right? Uh, for example, we are born in different parts of India, and we know the language diversity here. Clear? The language, the diversity in languages is so varied at different places that within one language there are so many variations. Okay, for example, people here in Odisha would connect to how different Odia is being spoken. Okay, people in Cuttack speaks to a different Odia. Sambalpur it's different, right? In Bhubaneswar it's different. Some people speaking Hindi and Odia together. So, the accents are somewhere very contaminated kind of thing. Okay, the same goes with people coming from West Bengal, okay, or people coming from Gujarat or other states which has people coming from south particularly or from north, मतलब Kashmir ke log, Punjab ke log, yeah, you will see that they have heavy influence of their mother tongue on them. Okay, so why do we call this an interference or influence? Okay. Now, people who stays within their mother tongue environment, okay, or they are working within the in the language environment in which they have been born and brought up in, okay. For them, it's no different, right? They find everything that the language spoken by them and the people they're interacting with, clear, are same. But when you move out, clear, when you have to communicate with people coming from different parts of the country or coming from India, the very first class I asked you people, where are you coming from? Okay. So it was basically to see how far this class has a mix of different language. Okay. Because for ELT, English language teaching, we call this, I mean, this professional communication is an applied form of, ELT teaching, which is English language teaching. Okay. So the first thing for us is to determine how our classroom is structured. Okay. What are the different language environment my class will have? Okay. Online classes में तो it's very different because most of the time we don't have interactions and all. Yeah, but in physical classrooms, when you interact, even when you are answering your roll numbers, yeah, you're answering your attendance, or you're answering the teacher. Those communications for those communications also, the teacher has to keep in mind that the student has a different mother tongue, yeah, or his communication in English is being affected by his mother tongue. Okay, so it's not only for the student, it is also for the teachers. I'm not from Odisha, right? I'm coming from a different state. Because so for me, when I communicate with people here in Odisha, I'm facing the same thing. Or when I speak English, or when I speak the second or third language that I know, clear, somewhere, the native speakers would be able to point out those situations or those accents which has that MTI in me. Okay, so everyone is is having a mother tongue influence, or they are having interference. Take care when they try to speak or communicate in other language. Okay, or they are trying to learn the other language. Okay, so for professional communication, take care, you are learning English. Take care, your the common communication language would be English. Okay, you would be expected to be fluent, you would be expected to be confident when you speak English, because that's very necessary for your personality development, for you being ready for the placements, you being getting ready for the group discussions, for taking the interviews, working in multinational environments, right? So when you know that you're going to be exposed to so many different environments, which again will have a mix of this multicultural language system. Okay, so the basic thing you need to understand is, in case if someone is not able to speak one particular language, which happens to be his second or third language, okay, they are facing such problem because of MTI. Okay, and the other people are facing this problem, and you are not facing this problem as a name. Okay, maybe you have worked on your second language and third language so well that you train your brain to replace the sounds very swiftly, very fluently, and the other person is not able to catch that. Okay, they are not able to figure out that you have made a mistake there. Okay, so that confidence comes only when you are able to train your brain with MTI. Okay, now uh, mother tongue influence, the basics of what exactly we are going to study here, or what are the things we come across. Okay, or what are the examples of MTI. Okay, so, mother tongue influence means the impact of the way your first language is spoken on the second language you're trying to learn. Okay. MTI influence or mother tongue is your first language, take up, but influence and interference will be there when you're trying to learn the second language or the third language. Okay. For example, if I try to learn Odia, or I try to speak Odia, ठीक है, my Hindi mother tongue will be interfering in learning Odia now, because my sound internalization has been set. Okay, my brain has accepted all the Hindi sounds, and replacing those sounds to learn a new language now is difficult. And when this difficulty arises, this is because of the interference and the influence of mother tongue. Okay, so the common definition, or the explanation or a description for MTI is the influence means the impact of the way your first language is spoken on the second language you're trying to learn. Okay, the way. For example, I'll give you one simple example. In Odia, people from Odisha can connect. Okay, the sound V. Okay, V for van. Uh, it, I mean, it's very rare that they pronounce V. Okay, what they pronounce is B. Okay, I mean, my name, if it is Pallavi, then they either spell it out as PALLABI, okay, or they spell it out as PALLABHI. Okay, so for the particular sound V, for them is B or V. Okay, it's not V for them. V for van is rarely, they cannot actually figure out this difference. Okay, and that is reflected in the spelling, the way they spell out my name. Okay, so I have to identify. The same goes with when my name is spoken by someone coming from West Bengal. Okay, so my name there is Polobi. Okay, it's not A there. O. Okay, so it's P A double L O B I. Okay, I mean different ways. Okay, so this particular example is uh, it's the way that the language is being affected. Okay, the second language is being affected by your mother tongue. Okay, now in India, language changes at every 10 miles. We know that. Okay, this makes it difficult for us to speak in standard accent, as all of us have our own ways of speaking English. Okay. India, mein English has been Indianized. Okay, Indianized English. बोलते हैं. People speaking British accent or American accent have been, looked weirdly by people. Okay? Indian speaking a British accent. मतलब अगर he has never been to British schooling or British country and have lived there for long, and gradually he has picked up that accent. But generally, in case in the due course of learning English, yeah, if someone picks up that British accent or English accent, sorry. American accent. Yeah, we look at them very weirdly, or we troll them. Okay, it's not only with the students; it's with everyone, even your teachers. Okay, or any speaker that you come across. Yeah, we do that. Okay, but the common way, or the way people in India have picked up English is that they have Indianized. Okay, so the accents, the sounds, the English sounds, particularly have been picked up differently by people coming from different regions. Okay, and that's the reason there are difference in V sound in Odisha and V sound in Bengal. Okay, so this is one of the reasons that when you try to speak English, okay, the entire PPT is driven towards English, okay, because we are talking about how you are taking English as a medium for communication, okay, a common medium for communication in English. Okay. So when you're trying to learn English, clear, and you happen to not get a confidence in speaking or accepting the standard accents, okay, or you are learning English by listening to it more, okay, the Indian way, okay. So in that case, we can say that we have Indianized English. Okay. Now, some of the real life examples or the Indianness of speaking English are written out here in the next bullet point, the fourth bullet point, which are the real life examples. Okay, is school, is student, pleasure. Yeah, I cannot even spell them out the way exactly they are written. Take care. So request, breakfast, take care, haram, welcome, auto, arrange, allow, take care very much, Canada. ठीक है, so you can relate to all these things. ठीक है. Now, why are these there? ठीक है, or why do you come across such spellings? It's just because they people don't understand that the standard sound of English is different from what they are speaking. Okay, though English spellings most of the time are different from how they are spelled. We'll be talking about that when we're talking about phonetics. Take it, the basic sounds we'll be talking about. Okay, but these are some of the real life examples of MTI. Okay, and we have seen this. Go to places In Himachal, you will find the spelling of restaurant written differently. ठीक है, in English and Hindi both. ठीक है, the same goes with the different examples given out here also. Also, ठीक है, it's not auto, it's auto. ठीक है, it's not terrain. It's not train, it's terrain. ठीक है. So
Ma'am, it's called English now.
English. Basically, it's English, but you cannot. English is mix of Hindi and English. Okay.
It's like that only, ma'am.
Exactly. But what would you call when people from coming from Bengal are speaking different English? Okay. People coming from South speaking English. Okay. Have you? People who have been into convent, the South. Convent coming from the South India. Okay. You had teachers from there who used to spell H as H, right? And M as M, right? We can relate to those things. उस समय समझ में नहीं आ रहा था, ठीक है? We used to troll them, but we now have to appreciate the fact that it was just because of their mother tongue. ठीक है, अभी तो we are living in a generation where we have a hybrid language. Clear? It is very rare for people who are speaking pure Hindi, ठीक है, or they are speaking pure English, or they are speaking pure Bangla. Maybe you code switching is so much there. ठीक है, I'm trying to tell you about the code switching. Code switching is using two languages simultaneously. Clear. For example, if I tell you, go and tell your mother that you don't have a class today. Okay. How would you tell it in your language? ठीक है, मम्मी आज क्लास नहीं है. ठीक है, क्या तुम जाके बोलोगे कि माँ आज कक्षा नहीं है? How many of you would be saying that? No one, right? Because we have accepted some of the words in English, and that English word goes with all the languages, be it Bangla, be it Punjabi, be it anything. Okay, some of the words have been, set with us. So we are not speaking pure English, pure Hindi, or the pure, language of any region. There are very few people who are speaking it, and they are feeling actually proud of their language. Okay, people coming from south, they are very proud of their language. उड़ीसा में भी देखा है, maybe बंगाल में भी है, but that again depends from people to people. I'm not actually making any personal remarks on this. Okay? But we need to accept this fact. We need to be aware of this fact. Okay, this is what is happening. Yeah? And instead of trolling them, okay, instead of judging them, instead of evaluating them because of their accent, okay, we should appreciate the fact that they have a mother tongue, स्ट्रॉन्ग होल्ड ऑन देयर मदर टंग. ठीक है, बहुतों को, जितने भी बच्चे यहाँ बैठे, तुम्हें क्या मतलब, इवन आई एम नॉट वेरी, आई मीन, I don't know pure Hindi to which is spoken in my own house, right? So we are coming from that generation where we have been exposed to hybrid language so much. Call it, the reasons can be so many. Our education is that way. We have our friend circles, our work environment is such that we simply cannot avoid, and at most of the time we don't even consider this as something which is affecting us. ठीक है, we take it as ठीक है. It's completely okay. Right. But when it comes to translation, okay, in case if you'll be working on translations in your future, or if you have an interest in translation, or if I ask you to translate, okay, if I give you a translation right now, okay, give me the translation of this particular sentence in your language, okay, you will see that somehow you are being affected. Whether that MTI effect will be in the sound system or it will be in the spelling system. Okay. तो मैंने बताया ना, ये सारे जो रियल लाइफ एग्जांपल्स यहाँ दिख रहे हैं, ये साउंड सिस्टम के भी इश्यूज हैं और स्पेलिंग के भी इश्यूज हैं. ओके, So MPI affects the sound system as well as the spelling system. Why are they using this spelling? Okay, because they are spelling it out that way. The sound pronunciation is that they are adding an extra a here. Okay, the pronunciation is of ka only. It's not of Canada, right? It's even if it is C, they are using, instead of C they are using ka. Okay, so the sound for K and the sound for C are taken as one, which exactly is not. In phonetics you will see taken as different, there are different sounds and each of the English alphabets are pronounced differently. Okay, I'll give you one video where you can actually listen to those sounds and you can understand the difference. Okay. Okay, so learners aid in pronunciations due to difference in the sound system and spelling symbols between the mother tongue and English. Okay, this is one example. Next, if the second language is introduced to learners before puberty, the chances of attaining a native-like pronunciation skill is easier. Okay, that is the reason, the reason you people are able to speak English fluently, it was just because of the decision of your parents to put you in English medium school, take an good English medium school. I mean, it's not just for namesake कि, वो जो कोई छोटे से स्कूल है and they call themselves English medium school, but I mean, you have totally local environment there. No, you were put to good convent schools and but please don't consider this remark as people coming from state boards or people coming from small boards or I mean your schools were not of that mark. Clear? I'm not trying to tell you that. I'm just trying to tell you is when you are exposed to good English, or when you are exposed to one good language particularly, you learn more easily. And child in their early age, they pick up any language very easily than when you are trying now, when your brain is all set with all the sound systems of your mother tongue. Okay, or all the different sounds that you have been exposed to by now. Clear? Your database have been your database has set the brain's database has set all the sounds, and replacing those sounds with a new sound system would be difficult now. ठीक है. Puberty में क्या होता है, you are basically everything is evolving, everything is growing, then the chances are very high. Okay, so that's the reason you will see, the parents these days are like after their children that they need to speak, learn the poems only in English. Hindi poems are not considered good when there is some relatives in the house. Okay, they ask their kid to recite the English poems only, not the Hindi poems. I mean, that's the reason. And even the government is emphasizing on why are we not taking a pride in our language, our own Hindi language. Okay, so this is the reason, these are the reasons that we have taken English as an elite language, and it has completely changed the language system here in India. Okay, and not speaking English is considered uncool. Speaking, I mean, the teenage language, or all those hybrid English that you people speak. Okay, especially the teenage. Okay, you consider it to be very cool. Okay, but understand that again, this will not work with your professional communication. Take care. Professional communication will actually require you to uh, speak when I mean, or use your language, whichever language you're using. Okay, so that needs to be developed. Okay, now in case if you are not being able to pick that up, take care. Understand that you are under the stronghold of MTI. Okay, I mean, it's not your fault, it's just that you are not training your brain to learn a new language. Okay, or the sound internalization within your brain is so strong that I mean, you trying to learn a new language is difficult, and it seems very difficult for you to pick up. Okay, I mean, बहुत लोगों को लगता है कि अरे, if you stay at one place for a long period of time, you are in a position to pick that language up. You will be picking up few things. ठीक है, मतलब when you're coming down to Odisha and you're staying with your friends here, when you're interacting with few people, maybe the local shopkeepers, or your hostel attendants, your मतलब जिनसे frequently तुम बात कर रहे communicate कर रहे हो, you'd be able to pick up few words, okay, few expressions of Odia, but it would be very rare that someone is picking up the language and speaking it fluently. ठीक है, एक तो और भी होता है ना, out of interest, in case if the Odia language interests you, then you'll be getting to learn it, you put in efforts to learn that, ठीक है, but the moment you understand कि उड़िया से ज्यादा तो हमें शायद foreign language सीखने की जरूरत है, because that will help us with our placement, so you'll put in more efforts towards it. Okay, I'm showing you just the reality. Like, I'm not commenting, or I'm not trying to condemn any one's learning practice, okay, language learning practice, okay, but yes, that's the fact that early language learning in a child helps them to pick up language native, like pronunciation easily than you pick up now. But then again, there are exceptions. Okay, there are many exceptions. Okay, understood? Next, now what are the reasons for MTI? Okay. Yeah, in regular Indian classrooms, the importance of native live accent is not given due stress. Okay, this is a fact. This is a bare fact which needs to be accepted. Okay, I mean, in English language teaching particularly, clear, this has been found that in the Indian classrooms, when they have multicultural environment, okay, multicultural classroom environment, ठीक है, the speaker or the educator does not give importance to native live accent, क्योंकि उसके पास खुद नहीं है, ठीक है, because say for example, I'm teaching you professional communication, ठीक है, I graduated with English, and then I hold my degree in PhD. Sorry, I hold my PhD in English. Yeah? But am I able to, give you that accent? Take it. No. I mean, I'm not teaching you that language. I'm not a language teacher, because a language teacher, particularly, now imagine if I ask someone from, China coming and teaching you English. Okay, would you, have a you know कॉन्फिडेंस कि दैट वुड बी ओके, ठीक है, या अपने यहाँ पे जो स्पोकन इंग्लिश के इंस्टीट्यूट चलते हैं, ठीक है, इफ यू नो द रियलिटी ऑफ ऑल दोस थिंग्स, ठीक है, आर दे एक्चुअली डूइंग जस्टिस? नो, इट्स नॉट, बिकॉज द वे a language should be learned, ठीक है, the way it should be picked up is not given due justice in many of the institutes, ठीक है, in many of the universities even, ठीक है. Now what happens? I'll give you a clear picture. Okay. Now what happens is, regular Indian classrooms में you have an educator, yeah, who is picking up or who is teaching one particular subject. ठीक है. For example, I'm teaching you professional communication. Okay, and I'm talking about phonetics. I'm talking about different thing, but I'm talking the basics. Clear? I'm talking about. I'm just making you aware of what all these things are. But when you actually take up courses in linguistics, and when you take up when you learn what are phonetics, what are different. Sounds that you're going to learn, okay, how the sound should be pronounced, okay, that will give you a confidence, okay, instead of you picking up those language classes where after 3 months you are getting a certificate that you have learned this, but you know the reality that you know how it can be pronounced, you know the grammar, you have somehow learned the vocabulary, but that native life accent is not there. Okay, because to get that native life accent, you need to be exposed to such environment first. Okay, so only not only by reading the grammar of that particular language will develop this native life accent, or translating it, but also speaking is required. Now, even if you take German classes, ठीक है, ये जर्मन की क्लास चल रही है, how many times are you learning German in German itself? No, you'll be taught in English. Okay, your educator will be instructing in English. The German things in English. Okay, the German accents. Maybe he will be talking about the sounds in Germans. Okay, but the explanation, if he talks in German, will you get the multicultural classroom? Will the classroom be able to pick up what exactly he's saying? No. Okay, so the educator himself is code switching. Okay, and that's the reason that many studies have been taken up, and many recommendations have been given for Indian classrooms in particular, because India is a country where the students come from different parts of the world. Yes, different parts of the world, and it forms a multicultural classroom, and identifying what common language should be followed is taken up as English, and then the native accent. Even if if the educator is, chalo मान भी लिया, if the educator is giving due stress on the correct native accent, but can I tell my student, no, you are not speaking correct English, I'm not going to teach you? That won't happen. There are so many situations which are need to be considered, and there are so many things most of the time people don't talk about. Okay, so particularly learning a language, okay, is an individual thing. ठीक है, Indian classrooms में when you have multicultural cultural environment, okay, the students are exposed more to the sounds they hear. ठीक है, why do you pick up those lingos like lamao kind of thing, और फिर बहुत सारे जो तुम्हारे words है, FOMO and all, those words that you people use, of the common type of languages that the teenagers are using, the college students are using, the college linguals that they call. Okay, why? Because you're more exposed to that. Okay, do you think if you have someone speaking Sanskrit in your group, yeah, you will be exposed to how he or she speaks, or whether it will develop an interest in you that you should also learn Sanskrit and you should also speak? Maybe. Okay, because there are so many factors affecting the language learning process now. Okay, so it's with Indian classroom, this is one important fact, and with the common environment in which one person is exposed to. Okay, these are the factors which needs to be given consideration. Okay, so India is becoming more of cosmopolitan type of country, where English is considered, or it has been taken up as the elite language. Okay, and most of the families, the Indian families, prefer to communicate in English with their student, with their children. Okay, or give instruction to their pets even. ठीक है, I mean, मतलब आदमी को तो छोड़ो, they instruct their pets even in English. ठीक है, okay, कि no, you cannot have this food. ठीक है, or you don't go there. ठीक है, I mean, it's just a general practice. ये क्यों हुआ है, कैसे हुआ है, no one is aware of this. ठीक है, but this is what is going on, and that's the reason Indian government is emphasizing on Hindi, but all the attempts are failing drastically, because there are very few people who are actually understanding the importance of Hindi language in country like India. Okay, and Indian classroom is one smaller part of that big problem. Okay. Now, number of dialects found is so large that it is practically impossible to address all the accents in a classroom. क्या मैं उल्टा वाले बच्चों के लिए बी और भी का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करूँ या फिर बंगाल पीपल कमिंग फ्रॉम बंगाल का ओ और अ का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करूँ. ठीक है, so it becomes very difficult. That's the reason with language teaching, grouping student as per their language is very important, and again, giving dedicated teachers, specified teachers for that language group is very important, but that again practically is impossible. Okay, that's the reason. बहुत बारी होता होगा ना, you have so many teachers teaching you different science subjects who speak only in their own regional language. Okay, and then it becomes very difficult. I mean, we have been facing this. It's not only in our school days, but it also was there in our graduation, post graduation, and then this continues. This continues. Now, children who begin to learn a second language in their childhood learn it faster. Learning at a later stage makes it difficult because then the child has already internalized the sounds of his or her mother tongue. Okay. क्योंकि you stay with your parents till 18 19 years, or then you move to a multicultural environment, तो घर पे जैसे तुम language बोलते रहते हो, that is set, that gets set in your brain's database. But अचानक से when you're exposed to more of a multicultural environment, it becomes difficult for you. Okay. Now, bilingual kids do not face the MTI problem. Okay, in general, because their brains have been trained in the flexibility of two or more language systems, and they are able to easily speak two languages without error. Okay. Not only bilingual kids, I have seen many multilingual people or kids, okay, who can speak fluent Odia, who can speak fluent English, who can speak fluent other language, Hindi also. Okay. Now, speaking of fluent language and not letting your mother tongue interfere in languages is just a mind game. Okay? The more you train your brain to get that flexibility of over, using one particular sound for one particular given language environment, okay, is totally a game of practice. Okay? And to certain extent, some people, as they say, are God gifted, and this is very rare in people. Okay? So this is what exactly happens with people, bilingual kids or the multilingual kids. They train their brain. ठीक है, they ऐसा नहीं है कि उनको आ गया है. ठीक है, they have worked on it. ठीक है, and they continuously train their brain. Okay, so that again is rare. Okay, but somehow what I believe it is again possible when you are exposed in the early childhood. Okay, बड़े होके कितना हो पाता है, the number will be very small. Yes. Okay. Next, above all, MTI happens because one has not heard enough English, one has not spoken enough English, one has been corrected enough. Okay, I'm talking about English because we are taking English as a second language here. Okay. Now, first language is mother tongue is the first language. Okay, English here is taken as a second language. It can also be third language for anyone. ठीक है, तो द फर्स्ट लैंग्वेज, ठीक है, कहीं पे अगर फर्स्ट लैंग्वेज की बात हो तो दैट इज मदर टंग. सेकेंड लैंग्वेज इज द लैंग्वेज यू आर ट्राइंग टू लर्न. ओके, कीप दैट इन माइंड. और कहीं पे L1 भी बोलते हैं, L1 इज द मदर टंग. ठीक है, L2 इज द लैंग्वेज यू आर ट्राइंग टू लर्न. ओके, और द सेकेंड लैंग्वेज. क्लियर, कीप दैट इन माइंड. कहीं कहीं पे मिलेगा. ठीक है, जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन योर बुक इटसेल्फ इट इज गिवन. ठीक है, सी इट आई सॉ समवेयर L1 L, हाँ देखो L1 है ना. ठीक है, L1 इज फर्स्ट लैंग्वेज एंड L2 इज योर सेकेंड लैंग्वेज. ठीक है, L2 L3 L4 बहुत लोग होता है. ओके, तो इट्स गिवन नाउ. क्या क्या so MTI happens because not, as I told school environment में अगर नहीं जाता, you're not hearing English enough. ठीक है, you're not speaking English enough. ठीक, or you're not being corrected enough, then you suffer from this MTI, okay? But most of the time, generally people suffer from MTI, okay? Next, what are the effects of MTI? Okay, lack of confidence in speaking English. Okay, in case if you are not able to speak English in specific, okay, make sure understand that it's not your problem. It's just the problem you have in your brain. You need to train. You need to hear enough English. You need to learn to speak enough English. Okay, and that's the reason you have been recommended to read the newspapers, listen to the news channels. Okay, or read the novels, okay, watch the movies with the subtitles in English, okay, so that you learn that way. Okay, so what are they doing? They are exposing you to that particular language. They are making you familiar with the different expressions, the different way of drafting sentences, the different grammar, the different vocabularies. Okay, they are making you expose. They are exposing you to that particular language. Okay, if I tell to learn Udia, ठीक है, learn the grammar, learn the alphabets, learn the script, ठीक है, but read more of Udia newspaper, hear to more of Udia news, ठीक है. It goes with every language. Okay, I'm talking, as I told you, I'm talking about English because we are taking this in terms of your English language teaching. Okay, so the effect of MDI would be you will lack confidence, okay, speaking English or any other language. You will find, it embarrassing when you communicate with people in public. Okay, public speaking would become a problem. Okay, communicating with people or assuming that someone is speaking very fluently in English, then you won't prefer to communicate in English, or even if you're trying to communicate, you will be speaking horrible English. Okay. Inability to speak English properly due to internalization of sounds from the mother tongue. Okay. This will be another issue. Okay. You will completely give up, inability, नहीं हो रहा मेरे से, ठीक है, बहुत बच्चे बोलते हैं नहीं हो पाता, मैं इंग्लिश नहीं बोल पाता, ठीक है, so this is their inability, right? Now, most of the time they say it's, I mean, I don't to promote the last line, okay, but they say that it's, you have a slow growth in your career or academics, okay, but this can again be worked on and you can cope up with it. Okay, it's just momentary. It's not that this is one reason for it. Okay, you need not to what to say, you need not to tell yourself कि just because तुम्हें इंग्लिश नहीं आता है तुम्हारा प्लेसमेंट नहीं हो रहा है, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है, ठीक है, ये सारी चीजें सिर्फ दिमाग में है. ओके, नेक्स्ट, do only Indians have mother tongue influence? क्या सिर्फ हम इंडियंस के साथ ही होता है? ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है, ठीक है. I mean, there are people around the globe who speak terrible English. I'm sorry, who speak terrible English. Okay, for example, MDI is in everybody who speaks more than one language. So anybody who speaks two languages, wherein they speak their native language at home and outside they speak English. ठीक है, everywhere it is the same case. Okay, for most of the universities, I don't know, I mean, at my university this was the case. We had students coming from Afghanistan and they were not able to speak English, they were not able to speak Hindi. So to teach them, the BTech course, they had to go through a preparatory course in English. 1 year का मतलब उनका BTech program was 5 years, where for the first year they learned, English. I mean, they were given thorough course on English for 1 year, and then from their second year they started off with their BTech program. This was the case. Okay, so there are some people around the globe who completely cannot speak English. Okay, so it's not only us. It's not only Indians who suffer from MTI. There are people around the globe who suffers from this issue. Okay, when it comes to speaking English. Okay. Next, the Far East countries like Japan, China, Hong Kong, etc., speak very quickly with very short words as their base language, which is Japanese or Mandarin. ठीक है, Mandarin का जो word syllables जो होता है ना, that is very short. ठीक है, so they speak quickly. Okay, uh, as in case of China or Hong Kong, has very short syllables uh, so that it is what interferes with their English speaking. ठीक है, मतलब हम हिंदी में ना हमारे फिर भी accents थोड़े से you have elongated accents. ठीक है, ई बड़ी ई, ठीक है, बट उनके यहाँ पे मैंडरिन में they have short syllables. Okay, so that interferes when they try to speak English, because English maybe you have those sounds which with emphasis. For example, e. Okay, if I say e, English ka e, okay, t. So these has some emphasis and they are longer syllables. Okay, so short syllables के वजह से people there face this problem, MTI problem. Next, the European countries like Italy or Spain, their base language has very long drawn sounds. So this is why their language sounds very easy and slow. ठीक है, European, Italy and Spain का accent you know, ठीक है, we feel that it's easy to speak. ठीक है, but they do face MTI problem. मतलब fast है तो भी problem है, slow है तो भी problem. ठीक है, because various accents in English, such as American and British accents, are examples of MTI, but they are universally accepted and are uniform. ठीक है, बहुत जगह पे इंग्लिश का अमेरिकन एंड ब्रिटिश एक्सेंट्स भी जो है, ठीक है, they are also are examples of MTI, but they are universally accepted and they are considered to be uniform. Okay. Right. In India, there is no consistency. The northern part of India speaks English in different manner. The southern part has its own pronunciation and way speaking, and so on. Okay. So these are some of the examples. In case if you're getting a question, do only English Indians have MPI problem? No, that's not the case. These are some of the examples. Okay. Next, can MPI ever be solved? ठीक है, that's the big question. ठीक है, मतलब तुम्हें पता चल गया कि तुम्हें you are suffering from MTI. ठीक है, can you do something about it? Yeah, what can be done is here. This challenge can surely be met by using the mother tongue removal tools offered in good digital language lab. ठीक है, we are about to begin with our language lab. I mean, COVID के से पहले we were working on this. ठीक है, but there are different institutes in India. ठीक है, for example, Seal Mysore, Seal का नाम सुना होगा अगर तुमने तो. It is an Institute of Indian Languages. They have digital language lab. Most of the IITs have digital language labs. क्या IIT कानपुर में है and शायद कानपुर है कि खड़गपुर, I'm not sure, but they have good digital language labs. क्या where you can learn, or digital labs nahi hai, then YouTube is one place where you find different courses, or you find different practice tutorials. Okay, where you can practice and work on it. Okay, next is carry the new speech patterns and get used to them. Slowly the sound will become a part of the speech system. It is same, मतलब सिर्फ पढ़ने से नहीं होगा. ठीक है, you will have to also use it. Okay, only then this can be solved. Yeah, I mean, just by reading the novels or listening to the news or reading the books or the newspapers won't help. Okay, how far you are using them. Okay, and then, the best way is what you can do is when you're reading something. Okay, when you are reading now something, there is an autocorrect function in your brain now. Okay, तुम्हें पता चल जाएगा कि तुम्हें खुद ही इंडिकेट तुम्हारा कंसाइन करेगा कि नो दिस इज रॉन्ग. ठीक है, the pronunciation that you have is not correct. Okay, so then you can auto correct yourself, yeah, and you can learn the correct pronunciation of that particular sound, and you can learn that way. You can, but what you need to do is, you're not learning only the time you are spending while you're learning. Okay, you are learning by practicing it also. Okay, so that is the way you can meet your MTI issues. Next is, to help reduce this problem in Indian schools, it is vital to encourage and promote spoken English, while the sound patterns which are likely to be confused and sorry for the typo here, flattered by the learners, are identified and drilled. ठीक है, this English spoken drills should be there. ये बचपन में होता था. ठीक है, बचपन में in your nurseries, in your preschools, ठीक है, or your UKG or prep classes तक, standard 1 2 तक भी शायद. ठीक है, we were made to imitate the voice or imitate the spellings spoken by our teacher, and she was actually making us learn the spellings. ठीक है, बोलो बच्चा, APPLE apple. ठीक है, and then the entire class was repeating after her. ठीक है, what was she doing? ठीक है, she was making us learn the spelling with the help of the sound. ठीक है, or why were we made to sing the national anthems at school, or why were we made to sing the different songs in the music classes, so that we learn the sound patterns. Okay, and then we pick up the sound patterns. Okay, and then we set it in our brain that way. Okay, so the same goes with the way you learn a music tune or you learn a song. Okay, the same way you can learn a language too. Okay, but it's just that जैसे गाने को गुनगुनाते रहते हैं, we try to speak the song wrongly in the first or the second attempt, and then we try to find out कि exactly है क्या, what are the lyrics exactly, what is the tune exactly. Okay, the same practice has to be done here by the individual schools में. The drill is there, but it is limited to particular standards only. Later on, it is not there. Later on, it is only taken as a punishment. I mean, when the teacher catches you, disturbing the class or talking to your friend, she picks you up and she asks you to read the chapter. Okay, or she makes you read the entire paragraph. Okay, so that drill will not help. Okay, individually, the problems have to be identified, and accordingly the drill has to be set. Okay, which is not done. A common drill is given out, and that will happen only when we have specific language learning institutes, universities. Only then this will happen. Okay, so this is how we can solve MTI. Okay, but apne se you can work on it. Okay, next, can I solve MTI on my own? Okay, yes, you can do that by practicing tongue twisters to improve focus while speaking English. ठीक है, I mean जो bilingual students होते हैं ना, bilingual person जो होते हैं और multilingual जो होते हैं, they actually focus on कि तो एक पर्टिकुलर साउंड, एक लैंग्वेज का पर्टिकुलर साउंड है, वो दूसरे पे ओवरलैप नहीं करे. सो इट इज जस्ट दैट यू फोकसिंग, training your brain to stay within one particular boundary of that particular language when you're speaking. Okay, so that will come through practice only. Okay, and basically you're trying to improve the focus. Okay, next, read text aloud and note down the words that you pronounce incorrectly to practice it later. ठीक है, ये तो बचपन में भी अपने कराए थे, टीचर्स कराते थे ना. दैट वाज टेकन एज डिक्टेशंस. ठीक है, और डिक्टेशंस मतलब कल डिक्टेशंस है, देन हाउ विल बी प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर इट एट होम. ठीक है, वी वर रीडिंग दैट अलाउड, वी वर repeating it 10 times, 15 times, we were writing it down by spelling it out 10 15 times, so that we don't make mistake in the dictation next day. Yeah, so that practice can be done here again, but you need to identify what are the sound pronunciation that is troubling you. Okay, and then you need to practice on that. You can listen to podcasts to correct sound of each syllable. Okay, the correct pronunciations can be found there on YouTube. ठीक है, all of the different language software that are available. ठीक है, next is listen to English news channel to improve pronunciation. You can do that, but again, the communications which are taught to journalists or in mass communication में, journalism में जो English language teaching दी जाती है, that is very different from what is there designed for other professional courses. ठीक है, I mean that's like जमीन आसमान का difference होता है, ठीक है. That's the reason you will find people graduating from good mass communication schools or journalism schools, okay, they excel in their accents no matter from which part of India they're coming. Okay, people like Arnab Goswami, take as an example of you pick up any person from the news fraternity, take Indian news fraternity. This is an example, ठीक है. Oh, and I mean opposite on contrary to Arnab Goswami, you have Ravish Kumar, ठीक है. तो आप किसके ABP के हैं, किसके रविश कुमार is from the channel
NDTV, NDTV, NDTV.
डेली राइट. आई मीन उसका इंग्लिश देख लो और यू नो यू हैव अर्नब गोस्वामी का इंग्लिश, ठीक
Shashi
है.
Tharoor.
शशि थरूर इज अ वेरी गुड एग्जांपल, यस ही इज अ वेरी गुड एग्जांपल, ठीक है. मतलब उनका तो कहना ही नहीं है, नॉट ओनली विद एक्सेंट, यू नो आल्सो विद हिज knowledge of literature and knowledge of sarcasm particularly, ठीक है, and the vocab he uses, outstanding, ठीक है. Next is watch English movies and listen to the English songs to find out how native English speakers speak in English. Yes, we can observe and we can learn. Okay, but again, we'll have to accept the fact that when we are observing and we are learning, we still have limitations. Okay, so what limitations do we have? To what extent we can remove that limitations? We can work on that limitations and be analyzed. Okay, it's not a miracle that will happen to you overnight or it will just come to you कि तुमने सोच लिया या तुमने एक सेशन ले लिया या तुमने कम्युनिकेशन स्पोकन कम्युनिकेशन स्पोकन इंग्लिश के क्लासेस ज्वाइन कर लिया दैट विल हैपन टू यू, ठीक है. नो, इट नीड्स कंसिस्टेंट प्रैक्टिस, ठीक है, कंसिस्टेंट प्रैक्टिस. Okay, next, join spoken English classes and have your trainer correct you on the spot as you speak. Okay, spoken English classes, one-to-one spoken English classes are good. Okay, and that's the reason most of the apps that are being developed these days. Okay, artificial intelligence के basis पे जो भी सारे apps develop हो रहे हैं, to which claims that they will help you learn English, can also help to certain extent, okay, in solving your MTI. And the best way is record yourself speaking English to find out which word you pronounce incorrectly. The best, the last, मुझे तो सबसे बेस्ट लगता है क्योंकि the more you work on your thing, the more you know how you can improve and without hesitating to tell yourself कि ये problem है, ठीक है, this is what I'm struggling with, and this is what I need to work on, ठीक है. That's the best way you can do it, ठीक है. जितने जितने टाइम तुम सेल्फीज लेते हो और ये करते हो उतना just 1 minute of recording will help you in that. Okay, so these are some of the suggested MTI methods and that's all for MTI. Okay, here you get long questions, MTI, you get application based questions. Please understand, dear students, you know uh, read the question, ठीक है. जितने भी concept, this is not science or this is not maths where a formula is given and that formula से ही क्वेश्चन बनेगा. यहाँ पे दिमाग भी लगाना पड़ता है, बहुत सारे एप्लीकेशन concept based situations होते हैं, ठीक है. So you have to read the question. You will have to focus on what exactly the question is asking for, how it should be approached. ठीक है, get out of that mindset कि पूछ लिया यहाँ पे कम्युनिकेशन के बारे में, मैंने पूरा कम्युनिकेशन लिख दिया फिर भी मुझे नंबर नहीं मिला. ऐसा नहीं होता है, right? You need to understand, you are preparing for your higher education now, take care. And higher education means level of learning and understanding will get to next level. You have to upgrade it, ठीक है. So understand the question first. MTI में भी नहीं होगा tell us ki what are MTI. I mean, if you get a question, ठीक है, define MTI, ठीक है, or describe MTI in your own words, ठीक है, वहां पे कर दो. But अगर application based question है, situation based question आया MTI पे, ठीक है, you will have to understand the question, read the question, ठीक है, understand what exactly is required, how should we approach, ठीक है. That is what will help you, ठीक है. Stop copy pasting or assuming कि हमने तो सब कुछ लिख दिया फिर भी मार्क्स नहीं मिला. मार्क्स ऐसे नहीं मिलता है ना, ठीक है. इट्स नॉट दैट, इट्स नॉट वो कि मतलब बच्चे ने कुछ भी लिखा है तो मार्क्स देना है, ठीक है. सी वी डू कंसिडर थिंग्स, ऐसा नहीं है कि द टीचर्स आर नॉट कंसिडरिंग, बट we cannot make you practice the wrong thing. No? It's just that. You need to understand. Okay? So this is all about MTI. I'll give you some questions on MTI. I'll see. Book में तो supplementary sheets में they haven't put up any questions at the end. ठीक है, as there are questions after every chapter here. ठीक है, in the book. Okay, I'll see what are the possible questions of MTI, then I'll put it for you. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Any question? The last class I couldn't mark your attendance. You know that, na? I mean, it was totally disturbing. The internet was disturbing, and I was not able to mark it. So I haven't updated that attendance. Okay. And don't worry, you still have 15 more days to attend your classes and you know cover up the I mean the falling attendance grades, or you can work on the attendance by attending both the theory classes and the lab classes. Okay? So not to worry about that. Okay. It's just that I've been unwell for past few days, and last class को I couldn't update because attendance लिया ही नहीं था मैंने. ठीक है. Okay, and I request you people थोड़ा सा try to be putting up your messages there on the WhatsApp group. ठीक है. Sending DMs are difficult. Most of the time I miss out. Clear? Put it in the group itself. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Chalo. So we have completed one more topic. We'll talk about phonetics on Monday, and then error detection, and then active passive. That's all. Okay. Clear? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have already uploaded letter and report. I'll put up this also there in the whole classroom. Okay. Read the book also, what is given in the book. Okay. You are free to read sources or materials given on internet, but you need to identify what is authentic on internet, what is not authentic on internet. Okay. इंटरनेट पे बहुत सारे पेजेस अपलोड हो जाता है. इवन यू कैन क्रिएट योर कंटेंट एंड यू कैन अपलोड इट. ठीक है, बट यू नीड टू वेरीफाई ना दोस कंटेंट वेदर दे आर ऑथेंटिक और नॉट. ठीक है, everything on internet is authentic or is acceptable ऐसा नहीं है. ठीक है, so whatever you are reading on internet, make sure you are reading from the authentic sources. Yeah. just be careful of that क्योंकि अभी होगा ये, अभी एंड सेमेस्टर एग्जाम्स आ रहा है ना, इसमें लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन ज्यादा है एंड यू विल हैव इन माइंड कि ठीक है लॉन्ग क्वेश्चन कुछ भी आएगा हम तो गूगल पे ढूंढ कर उसका आंसर लिख देंगे. वैसे नहीं चलेगा. टेलिंग यू.
Ma'am, what will be the pattern?
The pattern will remain the same. Section A will be objective, section B will be subjective. The same pattern. It's just that it will be for 15 marks. 50 marks, sorry. ठीक है, 2 घंटे का पेपर, आई गेस हाफ एन आवर फॉर,
How many objective questions means? How many marks?
आई हैव टू सी दैट, क्योंकि मैं थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूज हूँ, ठीक है। क्या डिवीजन है, आई रियली फॉरगेटिंग इट, ठीक है, आई लेट यू नो, ठीक है।
Ma'am, but the
बट इट्स
objective question, each question carries 2 marks.
हाँ, आई होप दैट विल कैरी 2 मार्क। ठीक है, लेट मी जस्ट फाइंड इट आउट, है ना, आई मीन मैंने एंड सेमेस्टर के पेपर्स बनाए नहीं है कभी, ठीक है। सो एंड मुझे याद भी नहीं है कि एग्जैक्टली मार्क डिवीजन कैसे होता है सेक्शन ए का। ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चन 2 मार्क्स से होते हैं, बट कितने होते हैं वो मुझे अभी याद नहीं आ रहा है, ठीक है। आई चेक एंड आई लेट यू नो, ठीक है। बट फर्स्ट सेक्शन इज फॉर हाफ एन आवर एंड देन यू हैव 1.5 आवर, आई गेस वैसा कुछ रहता है टाइम डिवीजन, ठीक है। दिस इज हाउ इट गोes, ओके।
Yes, ma'am.
Any more question? Anything related to MTI?
No, ma'am.
No? ठीक है। चलो, then please mark your attendance and then leave. 66, 67, 68, 68, 68 is there, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73,